Up to 40% of caregivers are at risk of depression, and caregiving is totally not an easy task at all. If you are a caregiver or have been a caregiver, then you'll totally understand. Welcome to Basically Physio. My name is Suresh and I'm a physiotherapist. In this video, we're going to explore 4 essential self-care tips for a caregiver so as to avoid a burnout for yourself. So caregiving is a very overwhelming task, especially at the beginning when you're new to taking care of someone. It is overwhelming because you want to keep them safe, you want to do your best, and you want to make sure that they have a fulfilling life during your caregiving journey for your patient. And this can actually lead to the first thing that you start to neglect your own health. And this happens much more commonly than someone might think. If you're a caregiver, just take a reflection and see whether you have been taking care of your own health over the last few weeks or months as you're taking care of someone. So the first thing that happens is, as you're so overwhelmed with taking care of your loved ones, you start to neglect the small things such as not exercising, eating unhealthy food most of the time, and also losing your sleep as the worries may tend to build up. So the first essential tip is to actually take care of your own health, because if you're not able to take care of your own health, then you will never be able to take care of someone efficiently and effectively. So start with actually eating a little bit more healthier. It is not necessary that you go all out and change your diet and completely eat healthy all the way, but start with small little changes. Maybe just for your lunch, have an option of a healthier meal instead of going to your usual fast food or your usual takeaway delivery. And the next thing is, try to find pockets of time so that you can start to have some physical activity in your routine, in your daily routine. And lastly, try your best to get quality sleep. And by quality sleep, I mean that you want to go to bed on time and you want to wake up on time. And if, let's say, you require caregiving duties in the middle of the night, then speak to your employer or speak to your family members or siblings to actually have a roster for night duty, because the longer you do night duty and also day duty, you're going to burn out much more faster than the rest of the caregivers. So your sleep is very important, and try your best to actually figure out whether there's a rostering of a duty that you can do so that you can actually have enough sleep. If it's not in the nighttime, then at least in the daytime. So taking care of your health is very important, but to truly thrive as a caregiver, you need to understand what makes you happy, which leads us to a second point, which is having self-compassion. So self-compassion, in this sense, what I mean is that you want to find out the pockets of time in between your caregiving duties and actually engage in some things that bring you happiness and joy. So this could be hobbies or just some simple activities that you used to enjoy last time before you became a full-time carer. And in these pockets of time, you just want to make sure that you are away from your caregiving responsibilities. Make sure someone is covering you before you do this. And in this period of time, you just want to engage fully and wholeheartedly into this hobby that once used to bring you joy, and actually try to rekindle those memories and actually just engage fully into this hobby. It could be as simple as just listening to music or doing some art and craft or just reading a newspaper. So there are many options out there, so you should just try to reflect on what brings you a lot of happiness and do that in that small pockets of time. It doesn't have to be hours long. Even if it's for 5 minutes and you do it daily, it will actually start to bring a lot of positive memories and emotions for yourself. So while taking time for yourself is important, what is even more crucial is that you are more self-aware of yourself and your emotions so as to avoid early signs of burnout, which leads us to our third point, being self-aware. So you want to pay attention to the emotions and the struggles that come up in your daily duties as a caregiver. And as you go through this repetition and daily routine of these caregiving duties, you want to identify what are the triggers that bring about these emotions of worry or struggle or just some hardship that you're going through. And you want to understand or at least catch yourself when you're feeling like this so that you can start to reflect on these experiences as a caregiver. And over time, if you find that these emotions are getting out of hand, then during your pockets of time that you have, which we talked about earlier, you want to try to find out whether you can actually seek some professional help in these pockets of time. It could be just talking to a friend, a fellow caregiver that you might know of, or your siblings or your family members. And you want to let them understand, maybe just for 5 to 10 minutes, talk your heart out to them and tell them what are the difficulties you're having with respect to caregiving duties. And this can actually do a lot of wonders for you. Actually, online, there are a lot of websites out there that provide online therapy services such as betterhelp.com, and you can check this out of these services, which are not going to be very expensive, and some of them even actually offer some financial help if you need. So you can actually look into this kind of online services, especially in this day and age. So being self-aware of your emotions is very, very important. This is the first step that you can take to avoid early burnout as a caregiver. So staying connected and emotionally aware of yourself is important, and seeking professional help is also important. But sometimes you just need more, and which leads us to our fourth point, which is just taking a true break from caregiving. So what I mean by this is no longer pockets of time, but maybe days or even weeks from your caregiving duties. So of course, you have to make sure that your caregiving duty is being taken over by someone else. In Singapore, where I am, there's actually some services called respite care services, whereby you can send your loved one or your client to an established center whereby there is established nurses on duty and doctors on duty who can take over the care for yourself, and you can have a proper break for yourself to actually recharge and get in touch with your emotions and actually understand what is really going on, so that you do not actually end up in a very bad state of burnout. So taking a true break sometimes will be the thing that helps to recharge everything and reset everything and come back stronger as a caregiver. If let's say it's too expensive to actually get a respite care service professionally, then you can actually speak to your siblings or your families and just tell them that maybe you need a day or two or maybe a week off, and see whether there's some alternative arrangements that can be done. And you can actually go for this break that you really, really need and just recharge and recuperate and come back stronger as a caregiver. So there we have it. Our first tip is to take care of your health. Second is to practice self-compassion. Third is to be self-aware of your emotions. And lastly is to take a true break for yourselves. And I hope that these tips shed some light for you. And this video itself is a reflective lesson for you as a caregiver. And if you are looking for other resources out there, I'm going to link it down in the description below. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.